Hey, what's up guys, Anfield here. Welcome back to another video. Now this video is actually going to be a World of Tanks video, but before we get into that, let me quickly say I hope you guys had a very Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, and also have a great New Year. So as you guys know, Wargaming Fest released some upcoming changes to World of Tanks. There are some very big changes, so it's going to be an interesting year for Wargaming. We'll see what exactly gets implemented and when, if they do follow up on these changes, but there's some very cool stuff actually for ones coming from Wargaming. Now, as many of you know, I haven't actually been playing much World of Tanks. That's both through Twitch, and I haven't been making that many YouTube videos on tanks. The simple reason for that is that I just haven't been enjoying the game all that much. Found the game to become increasingly frustrating over a time span where they just updated the game for things that I thought, well, why are you doing this? The real big one for me was when they first added the big Russian tech line changes. You know, the Object 430U, the 2684, and now since I last played the game, there's a 277 that's really overpowered. Things like that. That stuff actually frustrated me a lot more than what I see people complain about a lot, which is the matchmaker and also premium tanks. And I totally understand why people hate that stuff. I completely 100% understand. They're not the bigger issues for me. The bigger issues for me were always balance in the game, aside from the premium tanks. Strictly talking like tier 10 balance, power creep, like what I just talked about with the Russian tanks, the heavy armor updates to these tanks, and then you had like the other things that I found really frustrating, which was the HE tanks, which just added even more layers of RNG to the game. So Hesh and HE, when you're looking at like the Japanese heavies, for example, these kind of tanks incredibly frustrating to me. Obviously artillery's always been there as a problem. I thought the map balance has been so poor for a long time, and they just refuse to update some maps that are clearly bad, and it takes them so long to make changes. That's always frustrated me. The 1.0 update I thought was really positive in terms of the actual graphical update. I thought it brought the game into a modern era, which would then attract new players, but unfortunately they refused to add sweeping balance changes that could have improved not only the actual look of the game, but the actual gameplay itself, which I thought was important, and they just refused to do that. You know, there's aside from the maps, you also have like other balance issues. You know, such a I hate the Swedish TDs, for example, the STRV. I think it's so dumb. Just like stealth sniping. It just, by the time I was really stopping to play the game, it become like World of either Russian tanks or World of TDs, and it was just nah. I wasn't about that life, fam. I wasn't interested. I just was not having a good time. I wasn't having fun, so I just, you know, ceased to stream it, which is a big decision for me, because obviously when you stream a game and streaming is your income and your main game is World of Tanks, not playing World of Tanks probably not the safest decision in the world. Aside from that, these changes do look good, so hopefully we'll get some positive changes to the game. Maybe some players will come back, including myself, to play the game actively again. I played last on Christmas Eve, and it was so cool to see some of the old faces, in a matter of speaking, obviously, that, you know, I don't get to talk to that much, because obviously they only want to watch or play World of Tanks, and I totally understand that. But it was really cool to see a lot of those guys. So. But also I want to say a shout out to those of you that are still subbed to the channel or come by the Twitch to say hi. It's really cool that even though, you know, I'm not playing tanks, you guys still want to come by and say hi and see what's up. That is so cool. Thank you so much. But I also understand people that did unsub, for example, to the YouTube channel purely because I wasn't streaming tanks, or sorry, uploading tanks videos. I totally understand that. And I do apologize. I gotta do what's in my best interest, and when I was miserable playing that game, it's not what my stream should be about, is me being miserable. I want to enjoy the content that I'm putting out, so. But let's get into these changes, enough rambling. So, one of the significant changes is the premium ammo rework. Now, premium ammo, which is old, basically gold rounds, is going to be reworked into doing less damage, but keeping the same pen, which is something that not only myself, but I'm sure other community contributors and players of the game have been asking for such a long time. It's been suggested years back, and they're only just updating it now, which is whatever. They're doing it. So this is a really positive change, something that the game has needed for quite some time. I'm really excited for that in particular. They say we want to reduce the damage output by 25 to 30% of premium shells as they are right now. Could be interesting. It's a lot of less damage. Is it going to be too much? Is it going to be too little? I guess we'll soon find out. We'll be interested to see what the actual feedback on that is. But it is a good change, and it'll be interesting also to see what bad players go to. I'm like, wow, you're just a gold noob. Well, I can't say that anymore. I'm sure I'll find something. I got called a hacker the other day, actually, when I played on Christmas Eve, so I was really pleased that nothing really changed in that respect. He called me or actually it was two of them, called me a mod user hacker. Yeah, I was streaming with no mods on, obviously, because I don't use mods. I haven't used mods in years. So that was always fun to see. So I guess I'll go to that sort of thing. But overall, premium ammo nerf is good. Now, what worries me, of course, is how incredibly necessary premium rounds are in the game state right now. Without premium rounds, those tanks you could not pen. They don't have weak points to AP. In fact, you actually need to hit pseudo weak points with gold rounds. So yeah, that needs to be updated. There needs to be sweeping armor reworks in order for this to actually work. I mean, just think of some of these Russian tanks I complained about earlier. You're not going to be able to pen them, which is going to lead to them becoming incredibly overpowered, or in some cases they're already overpowered, so they're going to become even more overpowered. I mean, just imagine trying to pen some of these tanks without any kind of premium ammunition, because they simply don't have viable weak points. So that's obviously something that does concern me, so they definitely need to do a lot of changes to armor. So another key thing they mentioned in the post is Matchmaker. But interestingly, when I read the Matchmaker post, it wasn't actually what I expected to read, which is that they were going to look at introducing what they'd introduced on the Asia server, which the feedback that I've gotten from players on those servers is that it's been amazing. And that's the +1 -1 Matchmaker that they've had on there, and it's been incredibly successful. But when I read the post, and maybe I just misread and I didn't actually see it, which is entirely possible, to be honest with you. I skimmed it so fast. I didn't see anything about +1 -1 Matchmaker on there, just about some template changes. So I really hope that they do actually add that +1 -1. That would be huge for the game. I mean, again, this is something that we've been asking for God knows how long. So hopefully they go ahead and introduce that. And it's not just simple template changes, because they need so much more than that to make it actually viable. So one thing that they mentioned as well is vehicle rebalancing, which is something the game has desperately needed for a very long time. An overhaul of all the tanks, look at exactly where they are, how they're performing, and properly look at them. They say, oh, we have statistics. Obviously they don't work. That is clear to anyone that actively plays the game. The tanks that they're saying are fine are not fine. They say they want to rebalance tanks first based on their impact, how they're impacted by special ammo, premium ammo. So that's good. But what I worry about is that they update these tanks before they introduce the actual premium ammo nerf. So like we expect this tank to be affected in this way, so we're going to rebalance it first before we make the premium ammo change. I don't think this is a good idea, actually. I think they should wait until they add the premium ammo change and then see. Because some of the tanks they list, for example, E100, yes, E100 will lose quite a lot from having its heat round be much less damage. Obviously, 100 AP pen is really poor even after the update, so this is something that concerns me in that sense. But on the other hand, E100 armor is actually quite good when you take away premium ammo. And the IS-4 is even more extreme example. The IS-4 actually does incredibly well against standard ammo. It's just not good against premium ammo. Its armor is very effective when not looking at premium ammo. So those two are interesting. I do think the Leopard 1, SV1, these are interesting tanks to see updates. I definitely think that they definitely need to be buffed. And they're actually really cool tanks, so I'm really looking forward to them actually receiving some love, and probably they're actually the two best looking tanks in the game in my opinion. So really looking forward to those two actually getting a buff. So they briefly mention Clan Wars, but mostly it's just to say, oh, we're going to add this new Scuffed Chieftain into the game as a Clan War tank. Which is a shame, because Clan Wars used to be some of the most fun content in the game. In the early part of the game, it was so super fun, really rewarding, and it would just be nice to go back to that. And realistically, they could look at the successes of old Clan Wars and what people enjoyed so much about it, and try and emulate that, because that kind of Clan Wars was really, really, really fun. So I'd really love them to try and go back to that. So the final thing they mention is in a little video, which is classified files. Anyway, they talk about a few things they want to add very briefly, which is hiding player names and statistics in battles. Finally, if they add this, wow. That would be so good, honestly. Really look forward to that if that's added in the game. They talk about 6 cents for everyone. That's also something that is a no-brainer. But I mean, they've been mentioning that for quite a long time, and it still hasn't been added to the game, which is kind of weird. But if they eventually add it, that's amazing. And then the other thing is blacklisted maps, which I'd love to see how that actually works with their matchmaker. But I mean, if that's true, that's great. I mean, I'd much rather all the maps be consistently rebalanced to be improved, but this is a very, very good start. So yeah, I really love to see how they actually go ahead with some of these changes. Really excited for some of this stuff, but there is a lot of work to be done. Some of the stuff here is just some big steps in the right direction, but there's so much more to do, and I hope that they address a lot of these changes. Some of the stuff they've sort of brushed off for a long time, and maybe the declining numbers of the game has made them realize that this is some stuff that they should actually finally take a look at. I don't know what it is, but the point is they are making some of these changes, or at least announcing some of these changes. So yeah, really excited for some of this stuff, but again, still skeptical, and because it's wargaming, and I hope that they do go forward and go further beyond and actually change some more stuff, and actually update some things. So, but definitely hope on the horizon for World of Tanks, so I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, that's that, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments section what you think about these changes. Is there anything they missed or anything that you're particularly excited for? Let me know, and I'll catch you next time.